So very good morning to all of you. We are again back with the Human Resource Management paper of BTech ECE 5th semester, paper code OEEC 506C. So as discussed in our last class that we are going to discuss about two most important topic of human resource management, that is performance appraisal and training and development. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the performance appraisal. If you can remember, in our last session, we had a basic understanding of performance appraisal. We had a discussion that is your university examination, your semester examination is an performance appraisal system of your performance during college life. So similarly, in your corporate life, there would be performance appraisal as well based on your performances within the organization. A set standard will be given to you and you need to perform as per the standard, and you would be evaluated based on the performance of your performance, and there are consequences of that. Your promotion depend on your performance appraisal, your training and development scheduling depend on your performance appraisal, your compensation depend on your performance appraisal. So definitely there are a lot of applications of the performance appraisal. So in this section we are going to discuss about the meaning and definition of performance appraisal, purpose of performance appraisal, process of performance appraisal, and methods of performance appraisal. So again, I'm repeating what are the things we are going to cover today: meaning and definition of performance appraisal, purpose of performance appraisal, process of performance appraisal, and the methods of performance appraisal. So let us start with the meaning and definitions of performance appraisal. So performance appraisal is a tool which is used to evaluate the employee's performance at workplace. That I have discussed. In your college life, you are evaluated based on your semester examination, and based on your performances during the examination, you are getting A, O, E, right? Even B and C, right? So you are getting that, you are getting score. So similarly, in the organization, it also based on your performance at the work, you would be evaluated and will be getting ranked. And based on your rank, the company would be taking an appropriate action. So what are those actions that will be discussed, right? Next, it generally includes both the quantitative and the qualitative dimensions of the employee's performance. Okay, so quantitative performance as well as the qualitative performance we are going to evaluate, right? So that is the fundamental concept of performance appraisal. Now, what are the purpose? Why will be corporate used to do performance appraisal of their employees? Number one, providing feedback. If you are conducting a thorough performance appraisal, definitely will be able to give you a proper feedback that, see, this is your standard, that is your objective that has been given to you, and this is your level of performance. So if that is matching, that means you are at par with the goal sheet requirement. But however, if you are below the performance standard, then the feedback would be given how you can improve, right? So in order to give appropriate feedback, performance appraisal plays a very important role. Next one, facilitating promotion and the downsizing decision, as I've discussed. Like your promotion, your downsizing depend on the performance appraisal. Say for example, there are 100 employees, and out of that I will be giving promotion to 5 employees. So which 5 employees I should be giving promotion? It totally based on the performance appraisal system. The top 5 performers may be given the promotion. Maybe there is a situation that where the company needs to reduce the manpower. Like say for example, during this COVID-19 lockdown period, a lot of companies are reducing their manpower. That is called the downsizing. So which, say for example, out of the 100 employees I am having, I need to reduce or I need to terminate 10 employees. So which 10 employees I should terminate? So that, I mean the bottom 10 out of the 100 employees, if you are ranking based on the performance, the person who belongs from 98th position to 100th position, we are going to terminate them, right? So this is going to facilitate the promotion and the downsizing decisions as well. Next one is the setting and measuring goals. Performance appraisal is the process of first we will be setting the goal that this is the thing we are going to achieve, and then based on that, how the employees are actually performing, we can measure that. So setting and measuring the goals, so that is another objective or purpose. Next one is the determining compensation. What at the end of the year the increment would be given to the employees. How much increment would be given, that depend on your performances. If you are a top performer, maybe your increment is 15%. If you are not in the top 20%, if you are in the bottom, I mean middle 70%, your increment is, say for example, 10%. But if you are at the bottom 10%, then there is no increment. I mean, there is no salary hike. So that is the idea. So that is called the determine the compensation. So compensation structure is also being determined based on the performance. Counseling the poor performers. It is like number one, we'll be getting the the performance feedback and each and every employee. Now those who are poor performer, we have also got the data that these areas they have performed poorly. So this is a parameter or an inputs for their counseling, that okay fine, you have tried your level best, but however you have performed very poorly in these areas. So this is the areas of improvement, please try to improve in these areas. Okay, so that is called the counseling the poor performers. Next one is the encouraging and coaching. It is somehow related to the again number 5, that is those people we have identified they are not doing well. We can assign some mentor and the coach, that you take advice from these people that how to improve your performances in these areas. Similarly, not only that the poor performers, even the good performer, they are doing well, but however there are some areas where they need some improvement. So there also we can encourage this the coaching and mentorship, that you are doing fantastically well, you are really good and effective, but however if you want to move ahead in the career, you need to improve in these areas. So why don't you take the mentorship of that particular person? So I'm aligning you with that particular person. So take mentorship and the coaching from that particular person. So that will be helpful for your career or your performance as well, right? So that is the encouraging the coaching and mentoring. Next one is the number 7. It is very important, determining the training and development need, because it is an ideal benchmarking process of identification of the training and development need. A person his communication skill is excellent, but however he needs some improvement in the presentation skill, so he needs to be given some training on presentation skill. He is fabulous in the presentation and the communication skill, but he is not very good in Microsoft Excel, so he is not able to analyze the data properly. So in spite of having very good presentations and the communication skill, he is not able to present the data appropriately. What is the reason? Because he is having a poor data analysis skill. So a training on the data analysis based on Microsoft Excel or any other tools needs to be given. So this is training and development identification, training and development need identification. That is which employee require what kind of training, that can easily be understood by this performance appraisal feedback. So that's why it is important. Next one is the validating the hiring decision. We have hired the people. Now whether that hiring decision was correct or not, that can be validated through the performance appraisal. At the interview, we have found that this person can be fantastic. They can do my work really well. So we can understand that. But that can be validated throughout the performance. In the last 6 months, what was our expectation and how that particular person have performed. So if you can compare, then you can actually validate whether this kind of candidates are good or not. So these are the major 8 purpose of performance appraisal. So number 1 was providing feedback. Number 2, facilitating promotion and the downsizing decision. Number 3, setting and measuring goals. Number 4, determining compensation. Number 5, counseling the poor performance. Number 6, encouraging, coaching and mentoring. Number 7, determining training and development need. And number 8, validating the hiring decision. Next, we'll be discussing the process, how we are going to conduct this performance appraisal process. Okay. So number 1, establish the standard. That is very important. What should be the standard of performance for this position? If it is a sales profile, there would be a different set of performance standard. If it is an operation profile, that is a different set of performance standard. If it is a, say for example, is a HR profile, there would be a different set of performance standard. So different job demand, different set of performance standard. So we need to develop the performance standard, and we need to develop that or establish that with discussion with the employees who will be working in that particular profile. So we'll be discussing that. Number 2 is mutually set measurable goals. Again, the management and the employee will be sitting together and discuss that this is our goal. Management is not going to, or the HR department is not going to force a particular goal on an employee. Both the employee and the manager will be discussed together that what should be your goal within the next 6 months, which should be measurable. within next 6 months, tell me that how, say for example, if you're working in sales, within the next 6 months, what should be your sales target of this particular product? So that employee will be telling, okay, how many number of new customers will be creating, what is the percentage of the existing customer retention? What do you think? Will we be able to maintain 100% customer retention, or what is your expectation? So whatever, I mean, the manager and the employee both will be sitting together, and mutually they will be discussing or fixing a measurable goal for the next period. I mean, it may be a quarter, it may be a year, it may be a 6-month period. It's up to them, or as per the company policy. Next one is the measure the actual performance. I mean, first we have set the standard, then next we have set the goals, then we are actually measuring. Okay, fine, you have told that you would be ensuring 100% customer retention, but we have seen there is 5 customers who have left. I mean, they are not continuing business with us. So that means you have not been able to fulfill your objective. Then what can be the reason? No, that's the idea. So measure the actual performance. Next one is the compare the actual performance with the standard. Standard was 100%, but actually it is 80%. So there is a deviation of 20%. Discuss the appraisal result with the employees. Now we'll be discussing that you have told that you will be achieving the 100% customer retention, that all the customers will be working business with us, but however from your account there are 5 customers who have left. Now what is the reason? Right? So these are the things. So we need to discuss. So discuss the appraisal result with the employees, and next the corrective, take the corrective action if necessary. Okay. So whatever that actions that training, maybe some training needs to be conducted. Whatever the consequences, maybe those person who would be achieving the goals, they will be rewarded. Some incentive, that they may be promoted. Those who will not be able to do that, they will not be given this incentive or not be promoted. So that is depending on the company policy. So these are the set standard process of a performance appraisal system or any organization. So first we will be establishing the performance standard, then we will be mutually set the measurable goals with the employees. Next, measure the actual performance. Next, compare the actual performance with the standard. Next, discuss the appraisal result with the employees. And the last decision or the last step is take corrective action if necessary. Okay. Now we'll be discussing about some methods of performance appraisal. Okay. There are a lot of methods. Okay, a lot of methods. That usually the performance appraisal methods are being divided into 2 parts: traditional method and the modern method. So in this slide we are discussing about the traditional method. So there are a lot of traditional methods are available, but we will be discussing only 4 important traditional method. Number 1, straight ranking method. Like simple example, you are a manager, under you there are 5 employees. Now the HR manager or the HR department is asking, rank these employees as per your judgment about these employees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are having A, B, C, D, and E, 5 employees. So now you are ranking. Number 1 is B, number 2 is A, number 3 is C, like that. So you are just giving ranking. Now this ranking can also be based on certain kind of criteria, not only in general. So the HR manager or the performance appraisal manager may ask you, as being a manager, now tell me, as far as the communication skill is concerned, who is the best out of A, B, C, and D? Out of out of this your 5 employees, as far as discipline is concerned, who is number 1? Okay, so like that we can give the ranking based on different kind of parameters. So that is called straight ranking. Paired comparison means, as the term indicate, we are going to compare each and every employees. Now say for example, again the same parameter, communication skill. So as far as the communication skill is concerned, between A and B, who is good? Then you are saying A. Now between A and C, who is good? Between A and D, who is good? So this is the concept of paired comparison method. So each and everyone will be compared with each and everyone, then the ranking would be given. So paired comparison is also a ranking method, but whenever we'll be comparing with each other. Next one is the critical incident method. As the term indicate, every job have some specific important area or the critical area of performance. Okay, critical area or important area of performance. So we need to evaluate that particular position holder based on that critical area of performance only. Okay, then only will be evaluate appropriately that particular person. Like say for example, we are evaluating a doctor. Now the doctor is really good. I mean, he is a very genuine person. He is very decent. he takes a very less amount of fees from the patient. He is very polite towards the patient and the family member of the patient. So everything is good, but he cannot diagnose. He cannot detect the exact disease. So that means he is a very good human being, but he is not a very good doctor, right? Because if you want to say he is a very good doctor, that means he should have the capability for diagnosis of the disease. That is his major job. So whether that doctor is good at doing his actual critical job or not, so that we need to identify. So that is called the critical incident method. So we need to identify the critical success factor of the job and whether the incumbent is performing well in that critical success factor. If yes, that means he is good, otherwise he is not good. Okay. Next one is the force distribution. Force distribution means all the employees will be distributed in 3 categories: top 20%, middle 70%, and the bottom 10%. Right? So all the employees will be distributed in this category. So so that means, say for example, your performance is 90%. So 90% is a very good performance, right? But if all the other employees have performed better than you, that means 91%, 92%, 93%, 98%, 99.91%, 99.9%. So in this way, everybody have performed better than you. That means more than 90%. Then what will happen? You would be falling in the bottom 10%. Okay. So your performance will be measured in comparison with the others' performance level. So in spite of scoring 90%, you may not be in the top 10%. Forget about top 10%. You may be in the bottom 10%. Okay, because that is the reason. If you can remember, after 10 plus 2, sometime they have scored 90%, 95%, but you are not getting the chance in a particular college because everybody else, those who have applied, have scored more than you. So that is the reason. So this is called the force distribution method. So all the employees will be distributed into 3 categories. What are those things? Number 1, top 20, middle 10, and the bottom 10. Sorry, middle 70 and the bottom 10. So first one is the top 20%, top performer, middle 70%, and the bottom 10%. Right? So in this way, we'll be evaluating the performance of the employee. So these are the traditional method. Next, let us discuss about some modern method. Again, there are a lot of modern methods that is available. So we'll be discussing 3. Number 1, 360-degree appraisal. As the term indicates, 360-degree appraisal, we need to identify an individual employee. Who are the person who are directly or indirectly getting affected by this person. So all those person is going to evaluate this person, right? So that is called 360-degree appraisal. In earlier cases that we have discussed about the traditional method, in most of the cases, all the evaluation are being done only by the supervisor or the manager. Manager will be giving the feedback about the employees, okay, or the supervisor will be giving the feedback about the employees. But in this case, 360-degree appraisal, everybody who is directly or indirectly getting affected by the performance of that particular employee will be evaluating. Like say for example, teacher. A teacher can be evaluated by his student, by his colleagues, by the librarian, by the accounts people. Each and everybody who is in directly or indirectly getting affected by the performance of the employee will evaluate that particular person, right? So that is the concept of 360-degree appraisal. Next one is the balanced scorecard. Now, in the traditional method, we have identified, based on different parameters, we would be evaluating the performance of an individual employee, and thus parameters weightage can vary. Like say for example, whether we'll be giving more importance to, say for example, communication skill or the presentation skill or the subject knowledge. Which one? I mean, if somebody is very good in communication skill, but the subject knowledge is poor, then what will happen? Communication is well, but what he is going to communicate, because his subject knowledge is poor. Okay, his presentation is good, but again, subject knowledge is poor. So what he is going to present? So there is a controversy. But in case of balanced scorecard method, what we are going to do, we are going to identify some parameters and we'll be giving equal weightage to all the parameters. That means the employee has to perform equally well in all the parameters. We cannot say that he is good in this parameter, but he is not good in this parameter. Parameter A, he is good, but parameter B, he is not that good. Then your performance is not appropriate. So you have to be good in all the identified important parameters. So if, say, for example, you have identified 3 parameters, that means the employee all the parameters will be having 33% weightage. 3 parameters, 33% weightage. Now we have identified 4 parameters. That means each and every parameter is having 25% weightage. That means if you are performing well in 2 parameters, if you are not performing well in rest of the 2 parameters, that means you are missing out 50% of weightage because you are not performing in 2 parameters, right? So that is the idea of the balance scorecard. So usually the balance scorecard consists of 4 parameters. Number 1 is the financials. Number 2 is the customer centricity. Number 2 is the customer centricity. Number 3 is the training and development. And number 4 is the business process development. So financials means that is how much you are contributing to the company financially. If you are in the sales department, definitely you can have a direct contribution. If you're selling the product, you are earning profit for the company. So definitely there is a direct contribution. Your performance can be evaluated based on your financial contribution, right? So if, for example, if you are working in the finance department and HR department, then what will happen? Your financial contribution will be evaluated by reduction in the cost, by reduction in the expenditure. That is a particular job. You are in the HR department, you have to hire people. Now you can hire people by giving an advertisement in the timesjob.com or the Times of India by paying 5 lakhs rupees, 10 lakhs rupees expenditure. Now you are saying that no, we'll be concentrating more on our internal, our own connections through LinkedIn or through campus drives and etc. so that we can reduce the expenditure. So you are reducing the expenditure. That means you are contributing to increasing the profitability of the company, right? So in this way you can contribute. So that is the thing. So that is called the financial. Next one is the customer centricity, because each and every job holder having some customers to satisfy. It may be an internal customer, it may be an external customer, right? So maybe those who are working in the sales and marketing, they are handling the external customer. So how much their customers are happy, that is a very important factor. Those who are working inside the office, they are not interacting with the customer directly, so they are having internal customers. Okay, internal customers, how they are making their customers happy. So that is called the customer centricity. Next one is the training and development. How much time you are spending for your own development, that is personal development, skill development. That is, otherwise, if you are not taking care of the if your own training and development, that you may become obsolete in future. And the last one is the business process development, that whether you are taking initiative to improve the business processes of your organization, right? That is very important. Now, what is the concept of this balance scorecard? Then if we have identified these 4 parameters, an individual has to perform equally well in all the 4 parameters. That is why it is called balance scorecard. That means, say for example, your financial contribution is really excellent. You are achieving a lot of sales, fulfilling a lot of sales target for your company. But however, in the next category, your customer centricity is poor. I mean, though you are making a lot of sales, but you are losing customers as well, because the customers are not satisfied with your performance. Only one time purchaser. I mean, they are purchasing only one time. Next time they will not be contributing, or next time they are, there is no repeat purchase. What is the reason? Because your customer centricity is low. But if you are saying that yes, I am contributing hugely for the company because every day I'm doing a lot of sales, but that is not going to be counted because of course that will be counted. But as if you are not performing in other 3 parameters, that there is no value in the balance scorecard method, because you will be losing 75% of the weightage. Maybe you are very good in the earning profit and generating revenue, financial contribution excellent, customers are really satisfied, but you are ignoring all the training and development activities. You are not investing time in developing yourself. You are not attending training program. You are saying, I'm busy with my customer, I don't have to require I don't have to attend the training program. So you are again doing a mistake. That means again your contribution in the training and development, that is your personal training and development, you are missing out. That means what will happen, now you are performing really well, that's okay, but in future, in the long run, you will be obsolete because you are not upgrading yourself. So that means if you are really well in earning profit, developing financials, I mean earning profit for the company, selling huge volume, and the customers are also happy. But again, if you are not investing time on your training and development, you are not a good employee as far this balanced scorecard method is concerned. Again, say for example, if all the three parameters like for financials, customer centricity, training and development, you are awesome. You are doing really well. But if you are not concentrating on the business process development, you are not suggesting ideas that how to change the present business process to improve its effectiveness and the efficiency. So then again, you are losing out 25% of the efficiency, 25% of the weightage, right? So that's the thing. So if it is a balanced scorecard method, that means you have to perform equally well in all the four parameters, right? Next one is the management by objective. So management, or the commonly it is known as MBO, management by objective. So the organizational objective would be classified and distributed among the employees. Maybe say for example, organizational objective is to achieve the increase market share by 30%. Now 30% all India basis. Now that will be distributed individual employee wise. So if it is a 30% market share to be increased, I mean total all India basis, pan India basis, what should be the contribution from Kolkata? Like say for example, from Kolkata, 50% of the 30%, 50% of the 30% needs to be achieved by Kolkata people, because Kolkata is a very booming market. So that's why. So in Kolkata there are 10 branches. Now, what would be the contribution of each and every 10 branches? Like say for example, we are working in the South Kolkata branch. Now, what is the contribution? So say for example, they have decided South Kolkata branch has to achieve 50% of the 50% of the 30% of the total objective, right? Now in South Kolkata, there are 10 employees. Now, what should be the contribution of each and every employee? Then we will be deciding. So now, understand, if we are segregating the business objective of the organization, and we are segregating and assigning to each and every employee. Now, if each and every employees are fulfilling their small target effectively and efficiently, so automatically the organization will be achieve their overall target, right? And whatever the organizational achievement at the end of that particular period, that can be easily identifiable that who has performed what. If there is a less, I mean say for example, the objective was 30%, they have been able to achieve 25%, so there is a gap of 5%. So who is the responsible person for that? That can be easily traceable, right? That is called the management by objective. That is a fundamental concept. So this is all about your syllabus of performance appraisal system. So this performance appraisal, this is actually a topic of your chapter number 2 of your human resource management paper of this BTech ECE 5th semester. So you have completed this portions. In earlier portion, we have already discussed about the human resource planning. So in this section, we have discussed about this performance appraisal system. So that's all for today. In our next section, we are going to discuss about the last topic of this chapter, that is called the training and development, that we are going to discuss. And if you have any questions related to this chapter or the chapters we have already discussed earlier, the forum we have already disclosed to you, that where you can raise your questions, and we are going to discuss about the same. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me in that particular forum. So we are going to answer and explain again. So thank you so much for attending the session. So we'll soon be meeting with another session. Thank you so much.